Welcome back to the ABL review. Here we're talking about Pokemon Champions League Week 3. I've been loving doing these shorter episodes. We'll just jump into it. So, as usual, we're gonna lead off with my game, get it out of the way. Pretty close game. Let's get into it. Let's talk about this here. So we get the Starmie lead versus the Rotom Heat. Obviously, suboptimal lead for him. I was hoping to prevent potential rocks by getting a lead against like a defensive Tinkaton and just being able to try to cook that with an overheat. That was the plan. So then we get the switch into Crocodile as Mike is scouting to see if I'm Scarfed, which I think is a smart move. I'm able to frisk the Lumberry. Now, this is obviously pretty bad for me. I don't want to be in with my Gourgeist here because it's my check to Starmie, hence the reason I switched into it. And I can't afford to get knocked off and take what I'm looking at in the calc is potentially like 80% damage. And I don't want to lose my item either. So I'm just going to switch out. I don't have a lot of good answers to this. I can't afford to lose my Choice Scarf on Hydreigon. I don't want to bring T-Tar in just to die. Nothing else really wants to take something. So I kind of need to, I need to make some hard choices. And the hard choice is going to be to let Rotom here take this knockoff. So lose my Charcoal there. I know that he can based on my calcs, I'm calcing that he's Jolly, or that he's offensive at least, and not an up attack nature. So based on that damage, I'm assuming Jolly. I'm assuming I'm going to get outsped. But what I am going to do here is what looks like a really dumb play, but it's only a kind of dumb play. As the substitute comes out, I go for Will-O-Wisp. I know he's got a Lumberry. That was just to maybe try to burn the Lumberry because I have some things with some other mons with Will-O-Wisp, and I'd like to be able to try to wisp this thing if I can. In hindsight, I should have just clicked Overheat. Even I think if I had gone down to -6 on it, I think I would still be able to break the sub, which would have been a big help. And he's just going to be able to get a free Rock Slide, pick me off. Pretty bad news. Plus, I see the Moxie boost. Now, I didn't notice before that the Intimidate didn't come out. So, honestly, seeing Moxie is kind of a relief, even though it doesn't look like it. I know I can... Here's the thing. I got to break the sub, so I go out into my Scarf Hydreigon, break the sub, bring in Gourgeist, and now I just know that I need to play a very different game than I was planning on playing because my Gourgeist and my Rotom are both going to go down. I no longer have good ways to... I don't have a good way to defensively check Starmie, so that's a problem. And I don't have a really awesome check to Serena either. And killing Tinkaton, I only have one more option to do that with. So, early on, I didn't play well, and I got beat by prep and plays by Mike here. No question. So now Frostlass is going to come in and scare out Crocodile. Obviously, I figured that the Snorlax was going to come in. This damage really surprised me to see it do that much. I know 20% doesn't look like a lot, but considering the fact that I was expecting this to be Spadef with Thick Fat, that does like a lot of damage. And then here's a calc that I should have made. As I go out in my T-Tar, I'm going to take this Crunch. It's going to do not really much damage at all. I just figure that's normal damage. If I had calced it, I would have seen that it's Adamant max attack, which would have made me a little bit more leery. So now here's, like, bad play on both of our parts kind of leads to an interesting play here. So I'm going to take this opportunity to get up my rocks because I think I'm relatively safe as Serena comes in. I think I'm relatively safe because I'm like, oh, this Snorlax is going to be like Rest, Sleep Talk, Crunch, Body Slam probably. So it can't touch me. Maybe there's a chance it has Earthquake, but I think it's worth getting up rocks. So I go ahead and get up rocks. Mike did not take into account Sand Rush as an option for my team. So if he had stayed in, he had Brick Break. He could have just killed my Tyranitar, and I'd be down 6-3 by turn 8, or by turn 9, and with almost no chance of coming back. So I'm just going to go hard into my Mega Frostlass to block a potential Rapid Spin as a Power Whip comes out. That's also a big miss. That's a big miss. I kind of went through it with Mike. Like I need HP, just a little bit of HP on Frostlass for stuff I'm going to do later. So I needed it. Snorlax is going to now come in as I'm able to fire off another Blizzard. Get it pretty low, all things considered. T-Tar is going to come in because, again, I feel very safe as the rest goes off and we see the Chesto Berry pop. So this is, once again, a healthy Snorlax. I, again, think I'm safe. I'm just going to try to shuffle, make sure he can't bring in Charlotte here to Rapid Spin. And I get the Starmie in, which isn't what I wanted because, like I said, I've lost my defensive check to Starmie. Again, knowing what I know now, that Dragon Tail is such a bad move because I didn't know he had Brick Break. So, bad move by me, but it paid off. I've gotten lucky on the fact I've gotten lucky on maybe some bad prep, bad play from Mike, and I also got lucky that we dodged that Power Whip. Starmie's gonna come out. I know at least once I can go out into Hydreigon. I know there's a chance he has Dazzling Gleam, but he just shows off the flip turn here, and I realize like, okay, he's regular offensive. Doesn't mean he doesn't have Dazzling Gleam, but something to consider. I'm going to bring in Excadrill here on this Gigaton Hammer. I don't need HP on Excadrill. If I was at max, great, because I am a little bit fearful of Aqua Jet from Mega Starmie. But at this point, I just got to hope it doesn't have it, right? So I'm just going to do what Excadrill does and fire off an Earthquake, and this Serena is not what I was expecting. I was expecting that to be very Fizz Def. So I'm able to finish it off with an X Scissor just for good measure. Probably, I guess, based on that damage, I could just finish it off with an Earthquake. But so this is where that Power Whip miss really comes in because I'm able to come in here. And this is, I think, the definitive turning point in the match for me. These are two Pokemon that both have 120 base speed. I'm low enough where any hit's going to kill me. And he's in range of a Shadow Ball here. So I, at this point, feel like I need to risk this speed tie or else there is no coming back for me. So I stay in and I go for the Shadow Ball as Tinkaton comes in. I don't know why Snorlax didn't come in on this hit. That one is another misplay by Mike, but it does give me the ability to get off a big Shadow Ball against a pretty offensive Tinkaton, all things considered. Spit Out Drop didn't matter in this case since it already did 50%. But I'm able to clean it up with another one there. Well, the Ninetales is going to come in. Also just because I outspeed that, but I'm just going to make sure he can't get up a Veil. And he makes a good play and goes for the Moonblast on Tyranitar. Gets the irrelevant special attack drop, but I'm going to use this opportunity to bring in Excadrill. Thankfully, I don't need too much HP, but I can't afford to take any more hits. But now I have Excadrill in with 3 turns of sand left, and everything is in range of an attack here. Oh, never mind. Snorlax isn't. So I know Snorlax can stall out everything I got here. I just need to get Snorlax down to around 50-ish% is what I'm thinking. So Ironhead's going to go ahead and take out that. Crocodile's going to come in. I'm really surprised by this because I know he's not Scarfed. I took a long time on this turn trying to figure out, is there a chance he can be defensive enough to do the damage he did and outspeed and maybe still live an Earthquake? After much deliberation, I determined no, and he is in fact in Earthquake range. I only needed to get him, since he didn't have Intimidate, I only needed to get him to about 74% to guarantee that he was in Earthquake range. And he did that on his own with the substitute, so I'm very happy here. So Excadrill's in, only 1 turn of sand left. I can't go into T-Tar because I want to be able to reset my sand. I'm going to go ahead and go into Hydreigon because I know that I can take on pretty much anything he goes for. I think this may be another misplay on Mike's part. I think a Body Slam probably does better there. Yeah, like Frostlass could come in, but you still wall it. And Body Slam gives you a chance to fish for para, and I think it probably kills Excadrill considering he's adamant max attack. I'm just going to go for a Dark Pulse, most reliable move to just get some damage on it. And he shows the Brick Break, which is scary. Frostlass is going to come in. I actually still at this point am thinking that it's like, okay, so he's Crunch, Brick Break, rest, maybe Sleep Talk, or maybe Curse or something. So I'm going to bust out my Pain Split here, get a lot of HP back. And because of the defense boost from the snow, I'll be able to live this Crunch. I'm incorrect. That does kill. We talked through this last night. This did have a chance to not kill that Crunch. Which if he had done that, then I'm at very low HP. But I guess then I'm probably just going to fire off a Blizzard. Because he either kills me and is at, 13% health. Or he is going to rest, and then I can actually Pain Split back up to basically full. I'm going to go down there. I'm just going to get the KO with Excadrill because I know Starmie can't come in. At this point, it's locked in. I can't lose unless... The only way I can lose is if he still has Aqua Jet. Or, theoretically, if he had Agility on Starmie, which would be absolutely crazy. But I don't think he's got Aqua Jet because he would have gone into this Starmie before I killed off most of his Pokemon. And he also probably would have Aqua Jetted the Mega Frostlass all those turns ago. So I can go into Tyranitar. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to see it go down to a waterfall here. And then we're going to be able to come in with Excadrill, and that Starmie is in range of Earthquake, able to clean up. Really happy with that battle. Got lucky at quite a few spots, and I do think I got outplayed early on, but I think between prep and play through the back half, I was able to keep myself in it. Really good game from Mike. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we can move on to the next game, which is going to be Dakota versus Zane. Pretty interesting game here. I think there's some misplays on both sides. We'll talk about it. Good lead for Zane. Able to go for the Leech Seed right away. Smart. I like this Leech Seed subset on Mega Chestnut. I think it puts him in a good position. Also, watch this Roserade come in. Dazzling Gleam, takes out the sub. Body Press, that's a resisted hit. And it's doing, I know Roserade's not, the bulkiest Pokemon, but that does 55%. It's a guaranteed 2-hit KO, in theory, because this Dazzling Gleam, the Shell Bell actually gives him 9% back, which is, more than I've seen for most Shell Bells. And unfortunately, he doesn't get the same roll as he did on the last Body Press, and this Roserade's able to come out living here. So he's going to go into Rotom-Mow, take the Shadow Ball pretty well. Really bold prediction here from Dakota to go for Shadow Ball, because he must have been trying to catch the Skeledirge coming in, because it didn't cover the Chestnut. Chestnut has Bulletproof, so it would have done 0 damage. So really bold prediction there. Kind of pays off by getting the Spadef drop. Fortress is going to come in, eat up this Leaf Storm. Despite being the crit, it still takes that pretty well. He's going to Volt Switch out. So, still haven't seen an item on that Rotom yet, but we know it's not choiced. Volt Switch onto the Chestnut. Floette Eternal is going to come in and just pick that off. Only one Fairy Switch in on the whole team, and it's Skeledirge, which is going to come in right here. I believe you see a Torch Song go off. That's pretty good. Leftovers pop on the Rotom. And now this Rotom's going to come in and eat up this Discharge really well as he fires off a Thunderbolt to kill off the Fortress. Now, at this point, I think Dakota probably could have gone Floette Eternal here. Just pick it off. Or even Roserade, assuming this is max speed, outspeeds Meowscarada just to knock it off. The only thing, Rotom Wash is really the only, but he could go out to any of those 3 mons. Also, he doesn't want to go out to Mamoswine, but he does go out to Mamoswine. So this, I would immediately be reading, if I'm Zane, maybe this is Choice Scarfed, and he's just going to drop a Scarf Icicle Crash on me. But if he does that, I got opportunities to do stuff with other Pokemon, so I'll take that risk. Or he's Ice Shard, and maybe Zane knows that he's not in range of Ice Shard, or maybe he's Yachi. Covers both of those options. So he stays in and just goes for Leaf Storm. Dakota forgot that this had changed moves from what I could understand, and just thought he was going to be able to get a free attack off there. So Dakota lost a Pokemon for nothing, unfortunately. Sludge Bomb's going to come out from Skeledirge, or on the Skeledirge. No poison, which is, good news for Zane. Makes a nice double switch here to get in Como-O. The Como-O's in a pretty good position here as long as he's not worried about like burn or T-Wave or anything. He's going to get the Clangorous Soul. Is just going to get Volt switched on, very little damage. And then the Floette Eternal is going to come in. Now, I wasn't watching this game in real time. I do think that I would have given this a little bit of a thought depending on how quickly this Floette comes in. Because if this came in that quick, I'd be like, oh man, this is Choice Scarfed. But he doesn't do that. He doesn't know. And Choice Scarf Moonblast comes out and KOs the Como-O. This battle probably goes to Zane if this is in fact not Choice Scarfed. But as anybody who's played with Dakota for any length of time can tell you, man, does he love Choice Scarfing his Floette/Florgesses. So he likes his women in a scarf, and that continues to be that way. So Skeledirge is going to come out. Obviously, we're going to be able to eat up a Moonblast. So goes for a Shadow Ball here. A little bit surprised. I feel like he would have just gone for it. He should have just gone for a Torch Song. Sure, Rotom could have come in, but he's forcing you out anyways. Like, I don't think you're getting a KO there. Not a big deal, but, Meowscarada is going to come in, go for the knockoff. Not going to be enough to KO the Skeledirge. He's going to slack off there. I think that's a good move. Gonna get a Torch Song here, do a crit, 71%. So, good news, bad news. Good news is, if he had Torch Song, that's about how much it was gonna do anyways. Bad news is if he had Torch Song and still got the crit, this is a dead Meowscarada. So, he's gonna kind of go back and forth here a little bit and play these, try to slack off enough knockoffs to kind of stay out of range of being KO'd here. And he goes for the Shadow Ball, picks up the KO. Obviously, the +1 Shadow Ball was able to do that. But now, Skeledirge is going to go down. He doesn't have any more Moonblast switch-ins. So, at this point, if I'm Dakota, I'm probably just going to keep clicking Moonblast. But the Starmie comes in, maybe fearing a potential, Scarf or something. He goes into the Rotom. Pretty safe switch. As he just goes for a Volt switch here to bring the Floette back out. So now he's in a little bit safer position, fires off another Moonblast. And theoretically, that's just what we're going to see come down the line here. Still doesn't want to get potentially Scarf, because he doesn't know what the Scarfer is at this point. I don't think we've seen one. I don't think there is one, unless this is in... Oh, there's probably Scarfed Hisuian Samurott, all things considered. I'm going to see another Scald come out. Discharge is going to take down the Starmie. And at this point, pretty safe for the Hisuian Samurott to come in. Iron Tail doesn't do anything. Making a big prediction, trying to catch the incoming Floette Eternal. Doesn't work out. And Dakota's going to win that one 2-0. Yeah, I think that Dakota mostly just surprised Zane with the Choice Scarf. I think Zane probably didn't have a lot of... Let me pull the doc over here real quick, just so I can kind of take a look. Looks like Zane didn't have a lot of great answers to Floette. The only other options he would have maybe had is bringing in Ariados. That's his only other resist that I'm seeing. So, probably something he could have been better prepared for. But given the mons he did have, I think he played it pretty well. Yeah, there wasn't much he could do, especially after he got caught off guard with that Como-O. But that's where it is, and now we can move on to our marquee match of the week.
Marquee match of the week. Now we have a theme.
So marquee match of the week is going to be Zeng versus Ishii. Another really close match between these two. Both of them looking to get their first win of the season. So let's hop into it. So we got the Diggersby lead versus Hisuian Goodra. Obviously really good for Zeng. He's going to fire off this Earthquake, hit this Mudsail for a lot of damage. Now, before I sat down to record, I did a lot of calcs on this battle because there's some really, I think, interesting plays that happen. So I dove into this a lot, and it's showing a trend that I think is really interesting because I noticed it a little bit from Mike, and I'm seeing it from Ishii as well. So a lot of people are running max HP, max attack on stuff, which I'm really surprised that, because that, based on my calcs, that's what this Mudsdale is. It's like max HP, max attack. Or it's not defense, it's max HP, because if he's fully defensive, there's, I don't think, from what I could tell, any way it can do 55% on an Earthquake. Maybe I'm missing something, but he's going to get picked off the Giga Impact. Super risky. Okay, well, let's take it back one turn real quick. Let's let it get that 2-hit KO here. So it goes for the risky Giga Impact there. Now, free turn, okay? Diggersby can't switch out, can't attack. This Quaquaval has such an amazing matchup. The only thing that can actually take a hit, just a non-boosted Aqua Step on this team, is Basculegion. If this Quaquaval comes out and clicks, okay, so spoiler alert, turns out to be Choice Scarf, so maybe this wasn't the best play, but I still think he should have, I think Quaquaval should have been the switch in here and just click Aqua Step, KO this Diggersby. But Ishii takes the opportunity to go ahead and set up a nasty plot with Delphox. Good move as the Diggersby recharges and actually catches the Greninja on a switch in Grass Knot. So like I said, I think that I would have just wanted to take the KO in front of me, Quaquaval, Aqua Step the Diggersby. Not a huge deal that he didn't, because he still got a KO out of it. Arguably a more important KO. And if this is in fact Scarf like I'm theorizing, then I guess it doesn't matter so much. Because he probably would have had to switch when the Basculegion came in, or maybe when the Greninja comes in. But I don't know. That's just my thoughts there. Basculegion is going to come in. Now this is screaming that this is Choice Scarf Basculegion. And he's going to go into Hisuian Goodra. Now, based on my calcs, even with a crit, this is a fully Fizz-Def Goodra. That is my calcs, which will become relevant in a second. So Emboar is going to come in, and he's going to go for he's going to go for Flare Blitz on the Goodra. So based on my calcs, I mean, a fighting move would have been stronger, especially if he Mega Evolved. But he must have assumed that he's not going to switch in, so this Emboar stayed non-Mega, just so that way he could get a Reckless boosted Flare Blitz off, which is slightly stronger than Mega Emboar's Flare Blitz, since Mega Emboar does not have Reckless. So I like this play here. It goes for the Reckless boosted Flare Blitz in the sun. Does a lot to Torkoal, which also, based on my calcs, is not Fizz-Def. So show me where I'm doing the calcs wrong, but I don't think that. Let me see if I can pull it up here on the side. Emboar versus Torkoal. Once I get it up, I'll show you. So this is max attack Torkoal, or max special attack Torkoal, max HP. Flare Blitz in the sun. Let me bring this over here. How's that look? Yeah. So that Flare Blitz did 48. This is this is Adamant, max HP. So even this is sun boosted. Oh, this is Mega. Whoops. There we go. So that's a high roll on the Flare Blitz. So this is just like max HP. I add it from Adamant Emboar. So it's just odd. I don't really have a problem with the set in general. I'm just really surprised that there's so many people taking like traditionally Fizz-Def or Spadef Pokemon and just running just max HP. Power level's so high in this, I figured you'd want defense EVs. That's just me though. I think it's going to miss the Head Smash, which is unfortunate because it does allow the Torkoal to get up rocks here, which could break any potential sashes. Maybe that's what Diggersby had. Who knows? I guess maybe another reason that Ishii was being cautious. But even if it has a sash, he could have just It was a free turn. Now this is another weird one to me. So this Gudra is in, and based on my calcs, I've determined based on the damage from the flip turning Basculegion that this is Fizz Def Gudra. So I'm pulling up the calc here on the side. 32, bold. In the sun, Flare Blitz does 75 min to this Gudra. You clicked Flare Blitz against this guy last time. The only other things that might come in, like if he's pulling a weird goofy double or something, is Sylveon could come in which case you definitely want to click Flare Blitz instead of a fighting move. Wakavol could come in, who, yeah, sure, a fighting move's better to click, but I also think Sun Boosted Flare Blitz is fine. And then same thing against Delphox. It doesn't like taking either, but the sun's up, might as well click Flare Blitz. Or if you're gonna go for the fighting move, this is the time to Mega Evolve. It actually just stays in and goes for the non-Mega Evolved close combat as Ishi's Choppleberry pops. Now, the reason I'm saying I think Flare Blitz makes a lot of sense is because since it's not actually super effective, it can't be depowered by a berry. Probably would have KO'd from here. My calc is saying Flare Blitz does 75.4 minimum. So ignores the Choppleberry, and also doesn't allow for drops. So that's the play he should have gone for here, in my opinion. Or even Mega Evolved, but the Mega Evolve wouldn't have KO'd anyways. And also the Draco Meteor still would have KO'd after the -1 defense. I did check that. So I don't know, kind of a weird play by Zeng here, but in good prep by Ishi to bring the Choppleberry. Diggersby now is going to come out. So if it is Sash, it is now broken. Obviously, we're going to see, obviously we're going to see an Earthquake come out here. I forgot. And also this is Gooey Hisuian Gudra, which is a little surprising because, I don't know, you're potentially going against Mega Meganium, which you could absolutely wall if Hisuian Gudra into house. But, and then we're going to see Quaquaval come in. Now it's coming in. It must have been a Sash thing, right? Makes a really good prediction, goes for Brave Bird, does a bunch of damage to Basculegion. I don't really get the Brave Bird, though. Oh, I guess, never mind. I lied. That's for Hisuian Gudra, for sure. I'm going to follow up with another Brave Bird, KO the Basculegion. Now it's Aqua Step City. You should be dancing all over this fucker, right? If you can get off an Aqua Step, this game's over. So Diggersby's going to come out. Now, this is another thing I need to calc. So we know it's not Choice Scarf. We've seen it switch moves. So Diggersby, though. Oh, no, never mind. I was going to say maybe he was afraid of what's it called? Hisuian Zoroark, but this already came in a little bit damaged. So we know it's not Hisuian Zoroark. Bravest of Birds. This is one of the things I didn't calc, so bear with me. So +1 Brave Bird to Diggersby does 75 to 88 min. Okay, that's fine. But he does put himself in kind of not a great position here because he's going to go Sylveon as the agility goes up. This is pretty bad news. The good news is we know what his set is, and I think Ishi uses the set on Diggersby to put himself in the best possible position to win. Now, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, well, Sylveon's gonna die, but at least he can get off a Hyper Voice, get some good chip damage, right? Wrong. It's gonna go for Pixelate boosted Quick Attack as it goes down to an Earthquake. This once again shows that this Sylveon is actually not even HP invested. At least, I'm not gonna calc that again. I calc this as being it's definitely not defense invested. This might not even be HP invested. It should have been able to live that Earthquake. That one's surprising me. Again, just kind of going with the trend that I'm surprised I'm seeing. So this is a scary situation. This is a scary situation that you let that go down. But good news is Delphox is not going to die to a Fire Punch. It can't be hit by Earthquake. So that means Zeng has to go for Giga Impact, which If he hits it, he loses the game. If he misses it, I guess there's like a theoretical chance that he could there's maybe some maneuverability for him, but we'll see. So Giga Impact's going to come out, KO this. Now he has to recharge. Now it's dancing time. Squawkaval is going to take an Aqua Step on this Diggersby, get the speed boost. Now it's faster than anything that could come out, and it's got the +1. It's going to be able to KO everything. Aqua Step comes out on the Pikachu. Nope, just kidding. It's Hisuian Zoroark. That could have been Scarfed or Sash. Pikachu's going to come out and also eat an Aqua Step. And Quackball's going to pick up the last 2 KOs there. Well done by Ishii to get his first win of the season. I just really wanted to highlight this one because Zheng, I don't think Zheng made any bad sets. I don't love the frailty of his team. Kind of looking at the trajectory of the season for him, I think it definitely is a problem. And then I just really wanted to highlight the apparent trend of the EV spreads in here. I don't know what's the cause of that. Oh, I didn't reframe this when I switched. It's fine, guys. You get the picture. But that'll do it for this week. Let's take a look towards next week. Looking at the schedule, we've got Ishii taking on Dakota, Zane taking on me, and Zheng taking on Mike. Zheng's still looking for that first win of the season. Mike at 1-2. I'm excited to face Zane. It's not somebody I get to battle very often. Then Ishii and Dakota is, I think, typically a really interesting matchup just because of the way they build. I think is combustive. Yeah, I don't know. It's explosive, I guess. Explosive is the word. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I got. Thank you guys for listening. See you next week. Goodbye.